Well, this February new moon in Aquarius is going to be kickin'. Check this out. Stay tuned to find out what's coming up for you for our new moon musings cycle. Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your new moon musings for our new moon on February 9th of 2024. And OMG, it's going to be fabulous. So happy Aquarius season. This is a very exciting time for us as we are now, sort of in that Aquarius energy. Pluto is in Aquarius. We're moving through all of that stuff, and that's going to be our new normal for the next 20 years. And I feel like this is sort of the amping up of it. It's the excitement of it all. So if you are new to me here, stay tuned and continue watching to get an idea of how you can make this new moon musings reading work for you. And for those of you who have been with me a lot, you go ahead and you click on that intro and the soul card to get started with the reading. We'll see you on the flip side. So here's how the new moon musings reading works. In the new moon, we have different cycles and phases of the moon. We have the new moon, the waxing crescent, the first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter or third quarter, and the waning crescent. The first part of the new moon cycle is the waxing cycle. So we have waxing gibbous, waxing crescent. What does waxing mean? Waxing is the energy of, at the new moon, we are deciding what we want to work on. And the waxing is putting the action into what we're trying to create, what we're trying to achieve, a project that we're trying to complete. And then the waning part of it comes after the full moon. So you have new moon to full moon, that is the waxing. And then the waning is the full moon to the next new moon. And it doesn't mean that there's no action involved in the waning. It just means you're more reflective about what's going on. You're paying more attention to what action was put in, and is it working for us? And do we need to tweak the process as we are working to connect the dots and find the completion to that particular cycle? Each of these phases of the moon represents a different energy that each of us is experiencing in the collective as well as individually. So what you can do is watch the entire reading once all the way through to get the overarching energies for this particular new moon cycle. And then throughout the phases of each moon, you can come back and review each of those phases. Now, it's not an exact science. I read it as though we have basically three days, 2.5 to 4 days. So take the average in the middle, 3 days in each phase. But the moon is a bit temperamental, and so sometimes you can be in one phase and lasting a little longer in that phase, and maybe the next phase will be a little bit shorter. And for your neighbor, it might be the exact opposite. So it's important for you to really tune in and recognize where you're at energetically when you're tapping into these. So check out the timestamps below when you're watching this reading, anytime after you've taken in the full message and the full energy. So, as we are tapping into this new moon that is happening on February 9th, and 10th if you are in the southern hemisphere, what we want to really be understanding and knowing about it is that Aquarian energy. And Aquarian energy is community, conversations, technology, new inventions, being a visionary, beating to the tune of your own drum. So this this new moon is really going to invite us into those energies and areas. So as is with always the case when I do these readings, I'm going to use a particular tarot deck, and this month we are using the Tarot of the Sacred Kingdoms deck, which I'm really excited about. And then I am going to pull an affirmation card for the new moon, the first quarter, the full moon, and the third quarter, and that'll be from the Moon Magic Oracle deck from Stacey DeMarco. And I thought, how fitting to pull some moon energy for it. So let's get started. We are beginning right now with our release card. So this is the energy of what is it that we're actually releasing from the previous cycle. And we just went through sort of that Capricorn season. We had a really powerful new moon in January and lots of interesting energy. So what are we releasing from that as we step forward into the new? Ooh, we've got the Devil card. And so this is the Capricorn card. So I feel like this is really an on-the-nose message that we're releasing Capricorn energy. The Capricornian energy can sometimes be heavy. They're the builders. They know a lot. They expect a lot. There can be some heaviness to this energy because they're encouraging us to get better. They're encouraging us to pay attention to our structures. Are the structures that we have going on serving us? Are they going to support us as we're moving forward? And so I feel like we're releasing a lot of that heaviness, and we're opening up more now into okay, we've got the structure, and now let's build upon it. Let's be visionary. Let's create some new things on that already established foundation. So I feel like it's literally that simple. It is an on-the-nose message, which really doesn't happen very often, but there you are. So let's start with our Soul card. And the Soul card, I always love to do the Soul card because it is an indication of where we're at in the collective with our energies and what it is that we're here to grow into this month. And I feel very much that when we connect on that soul level, we can filter it into our, our individual lives. But when we understand on a soul level, here's what we have kind of agreed to collectively. Here's where all of our souls have decided we're going to have this mutual experience. And then from there, you can extrapolate and make it individual. I think that's so potent and so powerful because it helps to remind us that we're not alone, that we're all one, and we're working towards our wholeness. So our card for that is Nine of Wands. I love Nine of Wands. Okay. Nine of Wands is a card of perseverance. Nine of Wands is a card of control. Sometimes with this card, we can feel a bit exhausted. It represents that we're coming to the end of a particular road or a particular chapter in our lives, and it indicates a lot of times that the road's been long, the road's been hard. It's not been a skip in the park, sunshine and daisies, wine and roses. There's been a lot of effort. There's been a lot of growth. And I feel like when we're talking about the Soul card for this month, it's recognizing, hey, we are at the end of that Capricorn season. We are at the end of that Capricorn, the Pluto in Capricorn era. We're moving into a new era, which is going to be about 20 years or so. So there is this, I want to say from a collective perspective, I feel like this is coming up to say, let's honor and celebrate what we are releasing, and honor and celebrate that we've done some of the work required to be able to now get us into, sort of the next level. And of course, I'm not talking about today's reading is going to, be reflective of the next 20 years encompassing, but it is understanding that that's what this is saying. Keep persevering through the shift and the change, because you are in a space now where those new visions, those new inspirations, the inventiveness that is coming up and coming through will have the opportunity to take root because you've done the work, you've laid the foundation. So I feel like this is basically saying we've set ourselves up for success, even though sometimes it doesn't always feel that way. When we're looking at all of the turmoil that's going on in the world, it doesn't feel very successful. But what do they say? Hindsight is always 20/20. When we look back We don't see it right now because we're in it. We're too close to it. We don't see the perspective. We don't see that objectivity about what has transpired. Historians know all about this. Historians look back and say, okay, here's what's happened. Here's what's transpired. Over this 20 years, we can see this pattern and cycle, and we see this pattern and cycle in other areas. So we're just in it. We can't see what we're breaking out of and how we're blossoming, blooming, and growing, but we are. So this is our new moon card, and the new moon card is connected to the energy of I manifest. What is it I'm manifesting? So what energies are here to support my manifesting, and how can I lean into their wisdom? This is February 9th through the 12th. Ooh, Queen of Swords. So I love Queen of Swords, boundaries. It is boundaries. She's also a very thoughtful leader. She does not ask you to do anything that she wouldn't do herself. She's not asking you to do anything that she hasn't already thought through, 6 ways from Sunday. And so I feel like when it comes to the manifesting, I feel almost like this is the universe saying to you, listen, trust me. Trust that I've got this system. I've got the answers. I've got the key. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. You just have to put a little trust in the fact that when you ask for something, I'm going to bring it. And this particular card, I love that she's sitting with her companion. She's got this beautiful wolf companion or dog companion. She's doing some schooling, some reading, some writing. She's recording the plan. She's recording her thoughts. She's recording what she's already sort of laid out, and she's doing it with support. And I feel like whenever an animal shows up in the tarot, and they're often in that white energy, they're white colored, it's spirit. So I feel like spirit is saying to you in this new moon energy, trust that the universe is going to figure out the how and the when. So your responsibility now is just to really get clear on the what and the why. What is it that I want to manifest? Why do I want to manifest it? And the why isn't even for the universe. The why is for you, so that it gives you kind of an anchor. It gives you a focal point that you can always come back to, especially when you are manifesting new visions, new desires, new experiences. Sometimes we are on a trajectory, and we're on a mission to hit this particular goal, and through the process of that, we grow out of that goal, or that goal shifts or changes. So when you understand your why, you can shift accordingly, based on what is coming up and coming through for you. So collectively this week, I feel like what we're manifesting is I'm clear on my what and my why, and I'm not having to reinvent the wheel, and I'm really going to put trust in the universe that the universe is going to bring me what I want. I don't have to manifest the process of manifesting. It's redundant. This is that Aquarian energy, right? So I'm going with the ideas, and I'm not worrying about the rest of it. The rest of it will figure itself out. Yeah, I'm going to tinker and I'm going to figure it all out, but I'm the visionary. So the visionary is the most important piece. Other people will show up to, they're the worker bees that'll be able to put it into practice, right? You're the visionary right now. So step into your imaginative space and understand there's a structure around it if you allow it to be so. But you have to get out of your own way. I feel like that's a huge message. Okay, let's pull an affirmation card for our new moon. Just something that, obviously our overarching theme is I manifest. That can be an affirmation. But how do you manifest? I can guide and lead others wisely and with love. So I want to say it's be an example. Be the walking, talking example of speaking your manifestations into being. Speaking it as though it is your life. So when someone, says to you, hi, how are you today? You don't say, I'm fine, which is how most of us respond. You say, I'm excellent. I'm on my way to, have this wonderful experience and I can't wait. How are you today? And you can be, I want to say, infectious with your high energy. Even if that's not where you're going, you want to kind of walk your talk. You want to say it as though it's the truth, because then you feel it and then you're matching that frequency. So I can guide and lead others wisely and with love. With love is frequency. So you're sharing, you're modeling, you're mirroring the frequency. All right, so now we're at our waxing crescent moon. And ooh, we definitely have cards speaking to us. So actually we got two cards flipped, so I'm gonna just shuffle again. So this is February 13th through the 15th, and the overarching sort of affirmation for this is I plan. What do I need to consider when creating my plan for this cycle? Any challenges or opportunities to be aware of? Ooh, you got the World. So when we're thinking about the world, it's basically you're coming to the end of something. You're coming to a completion. You've arrived. You've done all the things that you needed to do. So when we're talking about the I plan, you really want to take a look at maybe what you're being redundant with. What are the things that you're trying to reinvent the wheel with that you no longer need to? Take a look at the areas of your life where you are, I want to say, where you're taking control of something, talking about that Nine of Wands, where you're taking control of something that you no longer need to take control of, that it's an illusion that the control is there anyway. And trust that you want to acknowledge just how far you've come. What is it that you've learned? What is it that you've experienced? How have you grown in this last cycle? And really acknowledging that. You know, so many of us get into the trap of self-help, self-improvement, self-awareness, where it can become its own obsession and its own addiction, its own unhealthy pattern and cycle, that this idea that there's always something that we need to fix. We're perfectly imperfect. You know, you're exactly the way you're supposed to be in this moment right now. So I feel like when we're talking about I plan and what do I need to consider when creating my plan, it's really paying attention to what are the things that have already been accomplished. Because I can check those off my list and I can let that energy go and leave room and space for more stuff to come into the mix. That feels really big. I feel also like for those of us when we are contributing, you know, wanting to contribute out into the world and shining our light, there's this idea that we have to go bigger. We have to make it bigger. We have to outshine ourselves or outshine our last performance. You know, there's a saying out there, you're only as good as your last performance. And, you know, in certain contexts, I would say, okay, yeah, I can see how that can be the case, but it's a very defeatist sort of approach. Just like you made your bed, now lie in it. Where's the compassion in that? You know, it's understanding, no, I'm going to check some of these things off my list because I'm ready for the next level. And it doesn't have to be about self-improvement. It can just be about I'm ready to learn the next thing. I'm learning the next step, or I'm having the next experience on the rung of the ladder of ascension. So I feel like this is important to understand that when you're planning, that you're not over planning, you're not overreacting, you're not overthinking or overanalyzing or reinventing the wheel, that you're in that fresh space of visionary. Wow, they're really poignant with, I want to say, those basic clear points of the Aquarian energy today. So that's really cool. Okay, we're at our first quarter moon. I act. First quarter card, and this is February 16th through the 19th. So with the I act, you know, we've manifested, we've put it out there what we want, we've created a bit of a plan. Now we're putting this into action, right? We're moving forward. So what energy fuels my motivation? How can I collaborate with source energy to empower my actions? So what's fueling your motivation? Two of Swords. This keeps coming up a lot. You know, there's an individual that I follow on YouTube who's awesome, Chris Minnopond. He's so funny, and he does great tarot readings. They're always very general readings, and yet they always speak to me. So I recommend you check him out. He's awesome if you haven't already heard about him. He talks about the Two of Swords as being, this is the card of looking for the third option. And I love how he talks about that, because typically the way that I see this Two of Swords card is putting the blindfold on and choosing. You have a choice to make, but it's the invitation to make the choice intuitionally, not from a logical, rational perspective, or not from the perspective of having a conversation and a communication with one another where you're both trying to, express your needs or your wants, or you're both trying to win. I feel like it's going intuitively into what is happening. But when he says, it's the card of the third option, that also makes sense too, because I also refer to this card as the option between shit sandwich A and shit sandwich B. Neither option is pleasant, but sometimes in order to move forward, you've got to choose it. You got to eat the shit to get onto the other side of where you're going and growing, and then you can move on. So I feel like this is coming up in terms of that I act, because there is something coming up for each of you in this particular window of time. As we said, the February 16th to the 19th, where you are going to be faced with an uncomfortable choice. And it's one of those things that you're going to be like, let's not, and say we did. And the universe is like, well, you got to make the choice. You got to do it. It's unpleasant, but this is, this is the direction that you need to take. Or, okay, if you don't like these options, take a step back and create a third path. There's nothing wrong with creating a third path. So Two of Swords, I feel, is coming up in terms of, okay, you're faced with choices. What will you do with them? And don't feel like you don't ever have a choice. You always have choices, but don't ever feel like you can't create other choices for yourself either. Sometimes life presents it in such a way that, it is what it is, and you got to work through it. But I don't feel like that's what this is coming up for us in this energy. It's more about, okay, in order for me to move forward, I've got to make some tough calls. And what I'm being presented with just doesn't feel intuitionally good for me. So how can I be inventive and creative about creating a third path, a third option for me? So really go in at this time, go into your intuitional space and ask your intuition what it wants to present to you. Say to the intuition, I need another option, because this just isn't working for me, and allow it to show up for you. I feel like that's really powerful. And from a collective energy perspective, if we all did that more often, I feel like we wouldn't be in such duality or on such extreme levels with one another in the state that we're in. Yeah, we live on a planet of duality. There's always going to be that. But I also feel like there's an energy of us trying to find the balance, the happy medium, and of course that shifts and flows with whatever's going on. But I feel like that's kind of what we're always sort of working towards. So let's do it. All right, our affirmation for the first quarter moon in terms of that, what energy fuels my motivation. This one's standing out to me here. Oh, this one's really cool. So this is, I flow towards my goal. I am strongly protected as I go. So when we act with confidence, knowing that I'm flowing towards my goal and I'm safe and protected in doing what it is that I'm doing. I'm trusting the universe. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to worry about the process of how it shows up or when it's going to show up. I focus on the what and why. I believe that it's happening. I'm strongly protected and I'm in flow. I want to say, get out of your own way. Don't get in the way of the universe's plan, because the universe's plan is your plan. The universe just has more ways of doing it, or wrapping around it, so to speak. You get to be the boss, and the universe is the tool that enacts the boss's wishes, right? Sorry, I hit the cards on the mic. Okay, so now we are in our Waxing Gibbous card, and this is I choose. What energy can I lean into for confidence as I discern my commitments? This is February 20th to the 23rd. So as we're coming out of that I act, now we're making that choice. We've got a second two. So Two of Swords, we talked about choice. Now this is a card of choice, or a cycle, part of the cycle of choice, and now we've got another two. So twos, duality, partnership, pairing, union, coming together, decisions needing to be made. Two of Wands in particular is a card of direction. What direction would I like to take? And so if we're choosing it, if we go based on that, Two of Swords energy, okay, I had, kind of a difficult decision that I needed to make. I made it, I got through it, and now I'm being presented with some new directions. What are the directions that I'm going to take? And the Three of Wands is a card of expansion. So you have to make a choice first. You got to choose the path, and then you can expand on that. It's growing where you're planted. What I keep hearing with this card here, and it really doesn't have anything to do with it, but this is what I'm hearing: commitment. What are you committing to in this particular time of this cycle? So February 20th to the 23rd, you're really going to be paying attention to what is it that I'm committing to, and is that commitment viable? Is that commitment actually getting me where it is that I want to go? Because I feel like there's an energy in the air here of trickery, like a trickster energy, or being in a situation or a space where things aren't always what they seem. So this Two of Wands is encouraging you to choose a direction and then really embrace or embody the commitment to that path. But you got to do the work to choose the proper direction. It's got to feel right to you. And that's when we're dealing with Wands, it's that soul energy, passion, fire. It is the energy that fuels us and helps to keep us on track. So there are going to be some energies that are going to feel trickster, that you may feel like you've chosen a path and then your self-doubt creeps in. And you go, well, maybe I made the wrong choice. Or you hear somebody else who poo-poos your idea in a way of, ooh, you're really going to do that? After you've already made up your mind. I also feel like the way to sort of navigate this is to keep your decisions to yourself. Don't share it with anyone until after you've done it. There's something to be said for getting support and involving certain people in a situation, involving them in your joy, involving them in the process, brainstorming. But there's also something to be said for not everybody may see the vision that you have. And so you want to really trust the intuitive space within you, and that's what you're going to enact out. Allow people to judge it based on what they're seeing and witnessing and experiencing, not based on what you're trying to convey to them about it. Give them something tangible to experience, because your visions aren't wrong. Your intuition and your imagination isn't wrong. It's actually completely right. And if you start telling everybody about it, everybody's got their 2 cents. And if you feel like that's going to shut you down a little bit, then don't go there. Just don't give anyone the opportunity. Keep it close to your chest until you are ready to bring it out into the world. All right, now we're at our full moon card. And so our full moon card, our full moon is on February 24th, and it's in Virgo. It's a snow moon, and it's in Virgo. So Virgo is devotion. Virgo is service. Virgo is the attention to detail, that sort of maiden energy, wanting to help the world expand. And snow is purity. Snow is whenever snow blankets, you have a blizzard and you step outside and it's at night and the snow has just basically blanketed it all over the place. Nobody's driving, nobody's doing anything. And you step out there and the snow has dampened the sound. It's like insulation, and you can hear your heartbeat. You can hear the voice in your head. You can hear yourself, the sound of your soul. So this is an opportunity in this full moon, and of course our full moon energy is always about I receive. What are you receiving? I feel like the Virgo snow moon is perfect because it's what are you receiving about what your commitments are going to be, what you're devoting yourself to. Not only your time and your energy, but I want to say your soul space. What are you devoting your soul space to at this time? So this full moon is really going to be super powerful, and it's going to be a great opportunity for you to, I want to say, go within a little bit. Be a little more, you don't have to be a hermit, which by the way is the Virgo card. You don't necessarily have to be a hermit, certainly not for the entire February 24th to 27th, the entire 4 days that we're kind of in this energy. What I would say is make sure that you're doing that introspection before you go out into the world, so that you're setting yourself up for success. This is how I want to show up. This is how I want to communicate, with others. This is how I want this experience to go relatively, or this is the outcome that I'm really hoping to achieve, and I don't know how it's going to get there, but that's what I'm manifesting. That's what I'm holding true to myself. It's putting devotion to the vision. And so I love it. We've got Six of Wands, and Six of Wands is a card of victory. So definitely feeling like this full moon energy is really going to support us in being the most successful that we can be, given whatever we have decided to manifest and to co-create, whatever we have given the universe, whatever tasks we've given the universe to convey on our behalf or to create on our behalf. It is victorious. Here's the thing about the Six of Wands. Yes, there's victory, but sometimes when you win a battle, there's still the war to go on. And I hate using the battle and war analogy, but it's what's coming through in my brain. So it's like, Caesar always did his little, parade through the city, and everybody would just, be so, oh, yay, and we're celebrating the victory. And Caesar would be, outwardly excited and doing all of these things, but in his mind, he's still strategizing, because he knows, okay, we won this battle, but we haven't really won the war yet. And there's always going to be someone coming around that's going to test the boundaries of what I've just established or what I've just created. So I feel like the full moon energy is not to rain on your parade and not to poo-poo the celebration, but to recognize I'm always in a state of evaluating my alignment to my dreams, goals, and desires. And so the full moon is saying, okay, receive the victory and then take that energy and apply it to how you're moving forward. Is it aligning me? How has this created more alignment to my goals? Is there a way that I can take this victory and extend it or multiply it? So that it's all working on my behalf. So I feel that there's a lot of evaluation in this full moon card. Not only are you receiving the delicious information of victory or the feeling and the celebration of it, you're also evaluating it because you want to make more of it. You want this to be the norm rather than, the exception to the rule, as it were. So, wow, that's super powerful. All right, I'm really kind of curious to see what the affirmation is going to be for this one. Gratefully, I surrender my struggle. Ooh, I love that. So, yeah, the victory. Gratefully, I surrender my struggle. I will sit in that victorious energy. And yes, I'm applying it as it moves forward. I'm looking to see how I'm going to repurpose it for my needs, but I'm surrendering the struggle in this moment. And I'm just receiving the victory. I'm receiving the accolades. I'm bathing in the energy of success. And because when we bathe in the energy of success, we're able to create more. So that feels really good. All right, now we're at our disseminating moon card. And this is February 28th into March 2nd. So this is an opportunity for us now to kind of shift months, and we're heading closer to our springtime, right? When things are kind of bubbling and bursting up, and we're excited about all of that. So I acknowledge how best can I honor my gifts and my light during this time? Where can I express gratitude from the heart? 10 of Pentacles. This is the everything you touch turns to gold. And I'm loving this card for this in particular. I acknowledge that I didn't do this all by myself. I acknowledge that even if there wasn't a single human on this planet who helped me with whatever it is that I just went through from a transformational perspective, that my dream team helped me. So I've never really truly been alone. And this is a celebration of how all that came about. When we're talking about that Six of Wands, it's celebrating the victory and also being reflective of, okay, what does this mean for me moving forward? Some of you are going to have some major ancestral connections during this time. Awareness, like crazy dreams, and I want to say awareness of the healing that you have done on behalf of your ancestral lineage and generational lineage. There will be a potent experience for some of you regarding that, where you recognize, oh my God, my choices, my decisions, my intuition, and me listening to my intuition has helped me to break a really uncomfortable, unhealthy generational pattern. And so 10 of Pentacles is that new beginnings based on an already established foundation. I did it. I did it. We are at a new normal. I am at a new normal. And so how do I want to use all of the abundance that is here now? How do I want to make use of the spoils of victory? How would I like to make use of that? And I keep hearing be smart about it. Be economical about it. Now, we are in an interesting economy time right now, and I feel like being economical about it is to a certain degree talking about being a bit conservative financially during this time, but I'm also feeling like it's being economical with your energy. Not putting all your, cards out on the table, or not wearing your heart on your sleeve necessarily. It's being economical about what you're committing to. There's that word, commitment. Because 10 of Pentacles says, okay, I just filled my coffers and this is great and I have so much to share and give, and it's not about lack and scarcity. It's not about this is mine and I have to hang on to it. It's more a reflection of, okay, how do I feel with all of this stuff here? How do I continue to make more of this? How do I maintain this and continue to allow this to grow so that I have even more to give? Sometimes I have to be economical about what I'm giving, what I'm investing, who I'm giving and investing to, in order to be able to make those riches grow and to really sink our teeth into that new pattern. Because there's learning that comes along with this as well. Yeah, it's a new pattern that you've established, and it's very exciting because you've broken a pattern, but Rome wasn't built in a day. You didn't get that way in a day. You didn't get that way overnight. So there's going to be some learning on this new path. This is a new adventure. You've not been here before, so give yourself the space and the permission to grow that energy and grow within that. All right, now we've got where are we at here? Okay, we're at our third quarter moon. This is I Claim, March 3rd through the 6th. And so I'm definitely feeling here the energy of spring, even though spring isn't until the end of the month of March. I'm feeling a lot of spring energy. So spring energy is potential, fresh, new, a lot of nurturing, a lot of hope, hope, envisioning, oh, I wonder what it'll do if it does this, and I wonder what it'll do if it does that. There's a lot of that visioning with potential. So I feel like you want to take advantage of this potential. I'm claiming the potential that is here. So I'm not letting it just be potential. I'm actually claiming it and saying, okay, let's go deeper into this so we can actually bring it into the physical. What is our card for that? Of course, it's the Fool. I love that the Fool's coming after the 10 of Pentacles, because it is about what we're bringing into the physical realm, thoughts becoming things. And the Fool is a new journey. It's that blind leap of faith. It's the, okay, I was at the world. I completed whatever it was that I needed to complete, and now I'm on to the next journey. And I'm at that Fool space. And the Fool is pure potential. It's the 0. The Fool is the nothing burger if you don't actually take the journey. He's standing here on the precipice, and he's looking out over maybe the opportunity for the next path or the next journey. Of course, he's got his white wolf with him, which is Spirit. So Spirit is with him, but it's up to him whether he chooses to take the leap and go forward, or whether he wants to kind of redo all the things over again. And, zero judgment from source if that's what you decide to do. Only you can determine whether or not you feel ready for the next journey. But the invitation here, when we're talking about the energies around March 3rd to 6th, it's you're being faced with an opportunity to actually take that big leap. And I feel like for most of us, there's going to be a big opportunity, like big. The kind of opportunity that you've been waiting for. This is all right, you've done all of the work to prepare yourself for this, and you've been sitting here going, okay, Where's my cookie? I'm ready. I'm waiting. Come on, universe. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. The universe is like, okay, boom. Here it is. And it's big. And that's why we took so much time to bring it to you, because you thought you were ready, but now let's put the rubber, this is where the rubber meets the road. Let's put our money where our mouth is. So the Fool is inviting you. You're going to be faced with a choice. You're faced with an opportunity. And now it's up to you to say yes to it. How many of us get to that space where, I want this, I want this, I want it so badly, I want it so badly, and it shows up in your path and you're like, holy shit balls, I don't know what to do with it, and I'm scared, and so now I'm gonna second guess it. It's the cold feet, the typical wedding cold feet the night before. I've been working towards this for like years, for years or for months. And now one night can just shatter it because it's the fear that creeps up. So the Fool invites you, and that's why the wolf is bigger than the man. The wolf is like, listen, I got you. If you want to do this, ride on my back. I'll take you there. But you have to choose it. You have to be prepared to step into that energy. So I feel like the 3rd through the 6th energy is going to be extremely potent in that regard, and I feel like the universe is not pulling any punches. So this big opportunity may also have some level of timing around it, like quick timing, like you have to make a decision now, because if you don't choose it, they're going to move on to somebody else. So I don't feel like you have to make the decision like in the single second, but I definitely feel like there's pressure around timing, and it's really getting to that space of understanding that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Coming back to what we talked about earlier with the 9 of Wands and the Queen of Swords and the World. Half of that stuff's already figured out. You don't have to go into that space. Don't micromanage. Don't overthink. Don't overanalyze. Jump into the Fool. Jump into the energy of the Fool, because it's a new adventure. You're ready for it. So our affirmation for this is, I am courageous and powerful. Oh my God, there you go. And look, it's got a beautiful lion. Now this is a wolf, so obviously a wolf is different than a lion here. But I feel like there's some significance here that they're both really big creatures, right? Big creatures. And the way that this is being represented, the lion is bigger than the earth, right? The same as I mentioned to you, the wolf is bigger than the man. So there's definitely some significance there, but I am courageous and powerful. That's what we need to start a fool's journey. We just need our courage. We need our bravery. We need to trust that things will sort themselves out. We just have to believe in ourselves. And that's what it is. I'm courageous and powerful. And finally, we're at our Balsamic Moon card. This is March 7th through the 9th. I surrender. So, with the 3rd quarter, I've claimed it. I'm in it to win it. Let's do this. I'm courageous and powerful. And now I'm in free fall. And I surrender to the universe. Whatever it is that you're going to bring into my path, I'm down for it. Give it to me, because this is part of the adventure. And I feel like that's a big thing, this I surrender piece. It's, I talk about surrender a lot. Surrender is not my favorite word, but I'm learning to love the word surrender, because I'm reclaiming it. I'm taking it back. I'm making it my own. When we surrender, we bring a lot of ease into our lives. We let go of a lot of anxiety that stops us from really being able to move forward towards our dreams or into the things that we know are going to make our lives better. Surrender can feel scary because it feels like we're giving up. It's not about giving up. It's saying, all right, universe, I'm on your wings. You're telling me to have fun with it. So all right, I'm riding on your wings. I've told you where to go. I've told you where to take me. I've told you where I eventually want to be. Get me there. And let me have the adventure of a lifetime, right? So I feel like that's really what we want to be stepping into. 3 of Pentacles, interesting. So normally I read this card as collaboration, but today what I keep getting in my head is this is actually more about learning the process. So I talk about this a lot. There's another tarot deck that I used to use years ago. I need to pull it out again. It's a Ciro Marchetti deck, and it shows like the 3 of Pentacles shows this man who's really, working hard to create the pentacle. He's learning the process of it. And I always think about like when you're learning, let's say for example, you're learning something brand new. I want to learn how to make jewelry. I've never made jewelry before. So I'm going to try something. And you put together this little friendship bracelet and it's all right. And you're like, okay, you get the materials together and you sort of figure it out and, you watch a YouTube video on it or whatever. And then you're like, okay. So then you make the second one and you're like, oh, well, that actually was better. And I remembered from last time that this part was tricky. So I'll use this tool, to help me with that particular process. And so you refine the process as you go. And then eventually, like you might do that 3 or 4 times. And then you find your flow. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I found my flow. I've made, 100 perfect bracelets in this color, in this style, and I'm bored. I'm ready for something new. I want to perfect my craft. I want to bejewel, bedazzle it. And so then you go, that's really the Eight of Pentacles, is where that starts to happen. You start to master your craft. This is really about learning the dollars and cents, learning the basics, mastering the basics. So I feel like this is inviting us when we are surrendering, it's inviting us to come back to the basics, to understand that, all right, on this new fool's journey, I am learning something new and something different. And I might not have all of the answers right now. I don't need all of those answers. It's okay for me to be a student. It's okay for me to bring things into the finite. This is a period of time here, March 7th through the 9th, where you do not want to be doing a whole lot of multitasking. You really want to be in a space of what's in front of me right now. I'm putting everything else to the side and I'm focusing on this. And when I'm able to complete this, then I can move on to other things. Or I'm going to, if it's something really big and you're not going to be able to complete it in a short period of time, I'm devoting an hour or 2 hours to this. Or tonight, this is my focus. Everything else can figure itself out, but tonight, this is what I'm focusing on. I feel like that focus is helping you with that mastery piece, but there are new things that you're learning. You got to put the work in to learn it in order to be able to master it. And I feel like that's kind of the energy of what we're stepping into with this balsamic moon. It's an invitation to learn something new and to understand that I do want to master this. So I might as well put the work in now. I'm surrendering to what is. Here's the work and the effort. I'm all in. Bring it on, universe, and let's do this. Okay? Our final card is our dark moon card. And so this is not part of the actual physical new moon cycle. This is more of a spiritual or an energetic card. And this is what we're going to be sort of releasing, and we're releasing it on March 8th. It's kind of right in between the balsamic moon cycle. And this is that release card that says, what is it that you need to release in order to really embrace and embody this mastery that you're stepping into? And we've got 5 of Pentacles. So you really need to release worry. You need to release this idea that you don't have enough within you, or that you can't figure things out. It's the can't, won't, shouldn't, I'm not good enough kind of stuff. The what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, what if that happens? Releasing all of that and stepping more into that faith space. This card is really significant because, these guys are out in the cold. There's kind of a snow blowing, but there's a building right behind them. If they really wanted shelter and warmth, they just have to turn around and make that choice. But they're not. They're like determined to get wherever it is that they feel that they need to go, and they're doing it in misery. It's anxiety inducing. It's a sense of lack and scarcity. So you want to release that, because that surrender piece may trigger some of that. It may bring some of that stuff up for you. So recognize that that is a reaction to the free fall that you've committed yourself to. And feelings are just feelings. They're neither true nor false, and they change. They'll pass. So this is an invitation to not fall into all of those negative feelings that can sometimes come up when we are in the process of making some shifts and changes for ourselves. So that is our new moon musings for February 9th. So happy to have been able to tune in this way. This was really freaking cool. I think there's going to be a lot of really positive momentum and ground gained throughout this month for all of us. So really excited to be able to tune in with you in this way. For those of you who would like more like this, I encourage you to check out my Tools for Transformation Ignite Your Wings membership. It's a membership community. Monthly, I do all sorts of things in there: readings, channelings, healings, boostings, so many different sort of card expressions. You get bonus material in there. You get affirmations. There's a challenge every month. There's just so much there to support you through these transformations. And we also do a lot of new moon work. One of the readings that I do is the full moon focus, to help us focus on what exactly is transpiring around that full moon energy. So if you like that kind of stuff, feel free to click on the link below to check it out. Would love to have you as a member. We've got a very vibrant community that is going on there, so it's always a lot of fun. If you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube. You know the drill. And we'll see you next week. We'll see you next month. Take care and transform well. Ciao.